say a whole lot, but very smart, intellectual person who really believes and understands the concept of what our newspaper is about and the purpose of what we do. He enforces that. He enforces that rule where people can know that when we write a story, when we come out with an issue, that it's the best possible issue that we could have done that particular day, that particular week. He maintains a level of professionalism that I'm really happy about. And he pushes us. He pushes his writers. He makes you work hard every day. He's challenging you. So, Dwayne, thank you for being the leader that you are. And my writers, there's Jason here, and Cindy, and Candace, of course, has been writing with us for a while. She's gone back to school and hopefully will join our staff. She's done traveling around the world. She got to go to China this year, right? Japan, yeah, and that's great. So, and then we have Ophelia, who works with our production staff. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. And then Lee, our photographer. Thanks, Lee. But go back to the staff and tell them about what happened here today, and tell them really that thank you for everything that they do. Share that with the rest of the staff. I appreciate that. I tell them, but I don't know if they listen to me. Sometimes they do. They say something. We talk about freedom of the press. In an Indian country, basically it doesn't exist. People have it, and they've done the treaties with different tribes. Different tribes have their way of governing. Some of them have treaties, some of them have constitutions. In Navajo, we have a thing that's called a tribal code. But the freedom of the press to write, freedom to speak, freedom of to express yourself, it's written. It's in our bylaws, and it's in our codes, and it's in our constitution. It's just not respected. It's not respected, and it's not enforced by our tribal leaders. And so, for the most part, that's been the big problem in Indian country, is finding leaders who understand the role of the media, who understand the role of the press, and then allowing them to exercise their right, to tell stories. And it's an ongoing problem in Indian country. And I'd like to say it's getting better, but really it's not. Back in 1989, the situation we had with Mr. McDonald, P. McDonald, that really was a sad situation that took place. And because a riot took place, and 2 of our own people were killed. By our own people. Our own people killed 2 of our own people. And that was the ultimate price that was paid. But we were right there at the forefront, Marty and myself. We were there, we wrote the stories. We told people about it, we published photos, and people were just, amazed at what power the press could do. We had people who were really supporting us and telling us, keep writing those stories, keep publishing those photos, because we need to know. Then we had the other side here, who the stories basically were, were about Peter McDonald, what he was doing. And they're the ones that are saying, if you write again, I'm going to kill you. If you do this again, we're going to come down and burn your office down. If you you better watch your back, that kind of thing. I mean, those are the kind of threats, and that's what we went through. So we've been on both sides, and we've always maintained a level of being neutral, right down the middle, so that we can tell people what the real story was. We thought we learned something. We thought our tribe would learn something at that point in time. But we'd never go back to that kind of behavior, that kind of thinking, where you try to censor the press, and such a situation like that where the truth really needed to come out and be told. 10 years later, we went through a similar situation with another president by the name of Albert Hale. And we wrote stories about his misuse of tribal funds, but also his personal life. He was having a good old time on the tribal dollar. And so we wrote about that. And again, the threats weren't as open, like saying, kick your butt, that kind of thing. But they were behind closed doors, where we were told by our government officials that unless you change the tone of your stories, unless you start writing more about all the great things that he was doing in his administration, we're going to let you go. You're going to be fired. We'll find somebody else to do it. And but we kept on flipping. We didn't stop. We kept telling the truth. And now here we are in 2009, and we're kind of again in a similar situation. We wrote stories the last month on a slush fund that our tribal council has. They're basically, it's money that they keep reappropriating to themselves, And it's slush money, and it's used to, it's supposed to be used like to help people with tuition or burial expenses, or to buy books for students, that kind of thing. Good things, positive things. What actually is happening, what we've uncovered, is that only certain families are benefiting from this money, and it's in the tens of thousands of dollars that they're getting. And so we're thinking somewhere along the line, there's got to be a kickback, scheme going on here. We just haven't been able to prove it yet, but we're getting closer and closer all the time. But the council is really on our tails now. They're basically not sharing any more information with us. Marley went over to their office this past week and was basically told to leave. She tried to get documents that we should all be able to get, the open laws, and we should be able to get public records. It's not happening. So these are examples of what I'm saying in Indian country, where freedom of the press really, it doesn't exist. It's not practiced the way it should. I have a lot of friends in Indian country, editors and publishers of other publications, and if they wrote the stories and they reported the way we did, they'd be gone, they'd be fired. And they've tried, and some of them have been fired. And I feel bad because I'm the one that's telling them, stick up for your people, stick up for what they need to know. And they do it, and they get fired, and now they don't have a job. I'm like, okay, sorry about that. But then it happens. And I feel bad about it. Even some tribal officials who defended me during the Albert Health time, a good boss that I had, who at first was telling me these things, telling me you need to change your ways, telling me you need to start writing, some good things about what the Hale administration is doing. He was a political appointee. And then he started to see what was going on, though. He realized himself that what we were writing, what we were saying was the truth. And so he stopped pressuring me. And he started saying, keep doing it, Tom, keep doing it. Lo and behold, a week later, he lost his job. So, some of the sacrifices that people have made. But going back to the Peter McDonald days, I think, the ultimate, though, what really had to wake people up, it took people getting killed, it took people dying. And it was our own people, our own blood was spilled right in our own land. And if people don't understand or realize what happened during that time, what was lost, then, it's really hard. You can't really put those things into perspective, other than just going out and telling the story, and then hoping that the people can choose themselves and pick out, what they think is important. They live and learn from what we present. So, freedom of the press, again, is something that we enjoy. It's something that is there on paper, but like I said, it's just not in the country. But we're doing our part. We really are. And a lot of personal sacrifices have been made, and on behalf of the staff and myself. We've had to take care of one another.